All right, we're moving along to Module 5. What I'm going to talk about today is Chapter 10, and again, it's the second headline. I really don't do this on purpose, but it's where it ended up. Blood dyscrasias, under, again, another heading is blood clotting disorders. What I want to talk to you today is called DIC, disseminated intravascular coagulation. Sometimes we refer to it as consumptive coagulopathy. It's as hard to spell as it is to say. I've got an extra letter in there. Coagulopathy. All right. So, obviously, we need to know the patho. There's a combination of excessive bleeding, excessive clotting, then all the clotting factors are used up. So, this is not just an issue of an injury in one little spot that causes this. This is a whole body issue. The clotting system, the cascade is in every vessel and the microcirculation everywhere. There's either a release of tissue, thromboplastin, or an injury to the endothelial cells that causes platelet adhesion. And these platelets clump together and cause multiple thrombosis, and then infarctions. Infarction is where that thrombosis blocks the vessel, and then there's the infarction is where an organ dies, or there's there's not enough circulation to get to the fingertips or a hand or something like that. The circulatory system is plugged up. As a result, all the available clotting factors and platelets are used up, and the fibrinolytic process is then continues to be stimulated. It's like a vicious cycle. It just can't stop. So, some of the reasons this can occur: toxemia, amniotic fluid embolus, placental abruption. Like in a placental abruption, it's loss of blood, and when you lose so much blood, then it kind of kicks in. But it can also happen because of an infection, some cancers, burns, or even crush injuries. So, some of your signs and symptoms. You're going to think about your patho all the time when you're studying this material to see what would my signs and symptoms be as a result of the pathophysiology. We're going to have a low plasma fibrinogen level for sure. We're going to have thrombocytopenia. It just means that we're going to have low number of platelets. Prolonged bleeding time. If we don't have platelets, we don't have anything to stop the bleeding, so you're going to have prolonged bleeding time. You're going to have a low blood pressure. You're going to be shocky. There's going to be bleeding from everywhere. You're going to see bleeding from someone's gums. They brushed their teeth that morning and were a little aggressive. If a guy shaved his face or a lady shaved her legs, you'll see bleeding from where the razor, they may not have nicked themselves, but you'll literally have some bleeding from the facial areas from where they had shaved. Pretty much you're going to see bleeding from every orifice. You'll see hematuria. You'll see that's blood in the urine. You'll see petechiae and ecchymosis, so bruising. And then there's also infarcts. Because of that plugging up of these vessels, the brain and other organs can actually have an infarction and not get blood circulation to them at all, and they die. Respiratory impairment, again, because of these obstructions, we can obstruct those vessels in the lungs. Neural effects like seizures, acute renal failure. So treatment, that's what you need to know as well. Initially and most aggressively, you have to find the cause. Until you find the cause and treat it, say you have a massive infection, you have to give antibiotics, possibly 3 or 4 at one time, or one right after the other. And until you can fix the underlying problem, you're not going to correct this. So you have to find what's causing it. You're going to start treating that, and then it's just going to be supportive depending on whether you have more hemorrhagic or more thrombotic, if it's more thrombotic in nature. So maybe some fresh frozen plasma, maybe some platelets, some packed red cells. At this point, it's just going to be supportive and be treated, and it's going to be individually for every person. Got to find the cause and treat it.